Yeah, I'd like to think they're silly series, but they're not silly series because this is all the stories. We've got so many of these about words being erased, words being changed. We're told things are offensive. Apparently, the word woman is offensive these days. We're now cervix owners and chest feeders instead of mothers and things like that. But Scout leaders, of all people, the Scout leaders have issued a style guide banning children from using the terms falling on deaf ears, man-made, and dinner ladies. They're also going to be prohibited from using the words maiden name and Christian name to avoid causing offence to people of all genders, religions, races, and to those who live with a disability. This is, meanwhile, the members of the SAS. The SAS, for goodness sake. Female soldiers will no longer be allowed to be called Doris, while calling officers Ruperts and referring to the RAF as crabs, thought to originate from their uniform being likened to the colour of an ointment used to cure pubic lice. I did not know this. Will also be banned. We all must be more careful with our language. Do you agree?
Absolutely not. It's funny that Boris Johnson, when he came out and said about the, the sort of fourth industrial revolution, that he had to promise, oh, I'm not a communist. But he seems to be pretty content to preside over a cultural revolution being waged on every single institution. What this effort is, as you said with the Scouts, is to try and sanitise our language of any particularity that might cause offence to one group or another. But a lot of those groups, including religions, are mutually exclusive. If you say one person's God doesn't exist, then the other's going to get pretty upset. So if you try and befriend everyone, you're going to end up befriending no one. All it ends up doing is, ironically, considering this is affecting the SAS too, disarming us of any ability to be critical to this futile effort to get an offence-free utopia. And it essentially robs us of common sense to say what men and women are and what our roles should be.
Well, exactly. But also, we often use terms simply because they are the norm that we see. So, for instance, I can certainly remember at my school, I'm pretty sure 99% of the people who served us lunch in the canteen were dinner ladies. I mean, ladies is a nice word. They were dinner ladies. And the people who collect my bins in the morning, I don't think I've ever seen one that wasn't a man. Maybe they were identifying as a woman. They didn't make it clear. I don't know. They were bin men. These words are used because they are genuinely, referencing who the people are who do jobs. But this is the thing, man-made. It doesn't mean that a man made it. We are, mankind, man, as in, man as opposed to animal or vegetable, falling on deaf ears. Ears that can't hear. I mean, my mother-in-law's deaf. She wouldn't be offended by that. It's like when I say on Twitter, I'll say something like, oh, God, you're a lunatic to someone who said something that's loony. And then you're told that's offensive to people who with mental health problems. Hey, am I allowed to say this? That's crazy. The idea that everyone's taking offence 24/7 is extraordinary.
Well, it's good to put expectations on people because people need boundaries to navigate the world, particularly the army and children. And the funny thing is the Scouts clearly aren't that opposed to putting boundaries on people because it was only last month they were handing out trans, bisexual and lesbian fun badges with all the colours of the rainbow on them. Clearly they're going to try and conscript kids into these new identities and make everything slowly normative, utterly too offensive. And so I don't see how this hypocrisy is going to help anyone. I know people are going to go along with it.
Here's the thing. If someone's offended by, like, dinner ladies or man-made, then that's awful. We need to change our language. But if you or I, wondering, or my listeners or viewers, are offended by, some of the trans ideology and some of the terminology there, like, cervix, and things like that, well, frankly, we're just bigots and we need to shut up. But there seem to be different rules. When does us taking offence count?
It doesn't, because there was an academic called Herbert Marcuse in the 60s. He created the term repressive tolerance. Basically, it's a big academic word meaning double standard. It means we need to silence the right and promote the left. And this is why when you see the Scouts trotting out these badges, they just say, oh, it's just for diversity and inclusion. But the moment you criticise Halifax for saying you should close your accounts because you're a bigger, they roll out the guillotines and they try and report people to the police for closing their bank accounts. It only cuts one way, and this is the point. We should stop acquiescing to their demands. We should stop expecting moral consistency from them. We should just say, shut up, go away, and the government, especially for taxpayer institutions like the Army or the Scouts, should step in.
So I think I speak for the entire country. Connor, come on again very, very soon. Please, Connor Tomlinson, political commentator. Andre, yes, we need more young people like him.
Well, I've got to say...
Am I allowed to say him?
I've got to say one thing. If I was in the RAF, I'd turn around and go, you know the reason that this is this colour? Because we didn't know that was the colour of the pubic lice cream, but you did.
Yeah, exactly.
You did.
But also, kind of, so the only reason we even exist is because we have people who stand up for these things. It's infuriating, isn't it?
I can't believe this. I got in and I heard this straight away. I mean, what are they thinking of? Where are they recruiting these people? Seriously, honestly, I'm shocked and stunned, mate.
Wouldn't they have said, like, if a bloke turned up and said, look, I'd like to make an official complaint, I've been called green slime, wouldn't somebody in authority have gone, sorry, mate, you've clearly in the wrong job. We mistakenly gave you a job as a soldier.
Yeah, it's the SAS. I like to think that they're the backbone, right, of anything dodgy happens, send a dozen of our boys in. They'll sort it out, no problem. But not if one of them's going to go in a room somewhere and then suddenly be offended by something he's seen on someone's wall.
We're going to have the... you know what it's like when the police knock down a door because they're on a drug raid or something, and, you know, when they enter, there's a bit of language there, Brian. You know the thing.
Oh, what? Is he going to be offended by language?
Well, I mean, are we going to get offenders and, you know, are we going to have terrorists now going to HR saying, you know, I was insulted by the SAS?
Yeah. Exactly.
They used the F word while they tried to stop me detonating a bomb.
And I didn't like it, so I'm going home to Mummy for Bicky. I mean,
Bicky.
you know, it's terrible, mate. It really
it's a shocker, isn't it?
But what do we do now? Is there anyone above the SAS? Do we have to hire some of the SBS, is it, Special Boat Service or whatever, you know, from America? Is that what we've got to do? Because they're not so daft.
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, it gets it. Listen, Brian, thank you for that. It gets even worse. Scout leaders have issued a new woke style guide banning kids from using terms falling on deaf ears, man-made, and dinner ladies. If falling on deaf ears or deaf ears, what's the term? Deaf. Yeah. They've written deaf here. Some clown over there at the Mail Online. You can't say man-made, you can't say dinner ladies. Children will also be prohibited from using maiden name and Christian name as terms in a move to avoid causing offence to people of all genders, religions, races, and to those who live with a disability. I don't know how that would possibly in any way upset somebody who's disabled to say, what's your Christian name? What's your maiden name? I don't know how that would affect somebody of a different gender, of a different religion. I mean, Christian name, you know, I guess the fact that, you know, constitutionally, head of state, Church of England, you know, Christian background. Are we apologising for that now? Are we seriously going to apologise? Well, we better not say that, might upset. By the way, you won't find a single Jew or Muslim or Sikh that will complain about that, just some people that think they would. So some clown. Instead, scouts are to be asked first name or given name, while previous name is preferred to maiden name, because that's an outdated term. Also excluded is school meal supervisors or school dinner assistants instead of dinner ladies, because you can't say dinner ladies, because they might not all be ladies, even though they are all ladies. Anyone have a dinner man at school? No one had a dinner man at school. You'd be on the phone, wouldn't you, to the authorities, going, we've got a dinner man in the playground. He shouldn't be here.